This is Richard with Adrenaline Rush Sports and Fitness, and today I have the nutritionist Melissa Crowson on today. Now, just a little bit of background: we met at one of the state clinics for the strength conditioning organization that I'm a part of, and I found that her presentation was really interesting, and she had a very high conviction in what she did. So I knew that she loved what she did and she's very involved. And I'm the same way with my strength conditioning and training my athletes. So I asked her at the clinic to come on to do a interview with me and she obliged, and here we are. So welcome, Melissa. Thank you for coming on. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
I have been in sports performance in the collegiate setting for over 13 years now with different roles. I've been a college strength coach myself, so I love that aspect of performance. And then the past 5 years, I've been a registered dietitian. So I've worked as a sports dietitian, the director at Liberty, the director of nutrition at the University of Louisville, and now I own my own company resourcing athletic departments across the nation with nutrition programming and sports medicine protocols.
So basically, college programs can contact you if they don't have like an on-site nutritionist to lead that program.
That's part of it. I also resource and equip the on-site dietitians because even if, University of Louisville, where I've been previously, we had 6 on-site dietitians full-time, but you still have 400 plus athletes. So the scope of what you can do, the bandwidth of what 6 people can do, and that's very fortunate. Most programs, even at the Power 5 level, maybe only have 3 full-time dietitians. So your bandwidth of what you can do and the impact you can have is just short-circuited, especially if you're doing a lot more of the food service aspect. So the more money you have, the more they want you to be handling food, and the less you get for the fun stuff, like the sports science and some of the mental health and the medical nutrition therapy and some of the things that I really love about the field. So I'd rather spend my time helping athletes reach their goals than figuring out when the shipment of Gatorade's coming in. There's a lot of roles in the collegiate setting for a dietitian, and I resource schools with dietitians and those without dietitians.
Oh, so I have a lot of athletes that I train. So I just want to get right into it, dive right into it. So what can nutrition do for an athlete? I know that seems general, but I'm just going to start off with the basics. What can nutrition do for an athlete? Proper nutrition.
Well, the sky's the limit. Where I always begin is asking the athlete what's holding them back. What is that barrier? Is it, I'm chronically sick and injured, or I'm always tired. I can't finish a game well. I lose stamina in the last 5 minutes and start making sloppy mistakes, or is it I just don't adapt? I work really hard, but I don't get stronger, better, faster. I don't rise to the level of my technique and training. And so whatever that thing is for that athlete, that's what nutrition can break through. So nutrition is what I deem the breakthrough. So we're kind of stuck in this one area level, and we want to take it to the next level, and there's this ceiling. And the reason it's the breakthrough is because it can change you from the inside out. So everything from altering DNA and how your genes represent themselves and are expressed in the human body to the impact on the cellular level. So it's an inside out impact, whereas, someone's picking up a weight's an external stimulus. It's only as good, that stimulus is only as good as what's going on internally, and nutrition happens on the inside. So
So let's play on what you just said. So like if an athlete, I want you to answer, I have 2 parts to my question. So okay. What if an athlete starts slow? And then what if an athlete, they have tough time ending the game with a lot of energy, a lot of power, a lot of speed. So how does that differ? Yes. And like, what would you recommend? Like, what is the best thing to eat?
If they're a slow starter,
to drink. If
they're a slow starter, then that tells me their central nervous system or their brain's not fully dialed in. So they may need to spend more time on the warm up and getting alert, and getting their brain woken up. And that's something that caffeine alone doesn't do. Caffeine may give you a jolt, but it's not really waking up the entire system of your body. And so that tells me that they need to spend more time, in the warm up, maybe if they're a slow starter. But if they're a bad finisher, it tells me that they're not fueling properly. So they're getting dehydrated, because if you lose even 2% of your water weight from sweating or dehydration, then you can make big mental mistakes. So people don't realize how the dehydration affects your brain. As well as, it could be not enough calories. It could be the wrong kind of calories. A lot of the mindset is just sugar it up, carb it up, because carbs are fuel, which is true, but you need a balance. So I say the carbs and the sugar are like the quick hit energy, but the fat is the long lasting energy. So I like to see a combination and a balanced plate when it comes to a pregame meal, because those fats are going to keep you to the end, whereas the sugar and the carbs are just for those intense moments. But if you have intense moments for 3-4 hours, you need stamina, the endurance of taking in healthy fats that your body will respond well to.
Yeah, but now I was going to say, I'm sure you're not talking about the fatty part on bacon as far as fats. So.
Correct. When I talk about fats, I'm talking about plant fats. So anything from nut butters, unrefined coconut oil, avocado, those fats are amazing to just keep you going. But yes, people don't like this, but I'm like, no bacon, no sausage, nothing heavy that's going to just weigh you down in the pregame. So no red meat, no dairy. We want to be light, fast on our feet. We want to have longevity and stamina. So we want to keep our food easily digestible and make sure it's helping us to the end.
What's the biggest problems that you see on the college level in your industry?
What are you really willing to do? Because a lot of people, everyone wants to be a winner, but nobody really wants to do what winners do. So, it's fun.
That's very true.
It's really fun to stand on a podium with a medal, but that's years of grinding in the dark and in the dirt, and blood, sweat, and tears, training through injuries, you name it, to get there. And nobody wants to do that. No one wants to do the hard work. And so a lot of people drop off with nutrition because they're shocked that it's hard, and they're shocked that it's like work. Well, I have the perfect plan. I should just be able to succeed. And it's like, you actually have to do the plan for it to work.
Exactly.
So I try to really dig there after if the lifestyle's looking pretty good. What are you willing to do? And what kind of work are you willing to put in? And what do I need to help you with to make sure that you can do the work? So
that's the big. Now, in the presentation that I attended, you said something about sports drinks as I was drinking the sports drink about your hydration. So tell us a little bit about how sports drinks that's on the market affects our body.
Yes.
And what are some alternatives that we can do?
So most sports drinks that are on the market look really cool and taste really good. And so they're really more of a marketing ploy than they are a performance, asset. And so, and that's because they want you to buy their products. So they're smart. I mean, I always say Gatorade is the best marketing company in the world. They ace it. Their product is terrible, but you don't know that because it's really cool and it looks cool and it tastes cool. So you have to know in the food industry, for people to buy your product, it's got to look cool and taste cool. And it's got to be this like edgy thing. And so, but if you don't really do your homework, you're getting fooled all the time. And so the problem with sports drinks is that they typically have a really high sugar content, which makes your blood like jelly. So it's sticky. So instead of our blood flowing well to all of our muscles in competition, we've now got jelly, sticky blood. So we get to sugar is hygroscopic. It pulls water out of your muscles to the sugar molecule. So then you get dehydrated faster. So I always say it's not a hydration tool. It's a thirst quencher. It makes you feel like you're not thirsty anymore, but it doesn't hydrate your body. So that's some of the, and then the other aspect of it is that if people are caught on to the fact that sugar is bad, too much sugar is not good, then they are doing artificial sweeteners. So you still get the sugar hit without the calories. So people are like, well, I'm good. There's no sugar calories in this drink. Well, you've got 3 artificial sweeteners, you've got 2 food dyes, and those things are just wiping out your healthy gut flora, which is your immune system, your ability to recover, and your ability to produce growth hormone and the hormones needed to get stronger and faster and better. So there's the real sugar and the fake sugar that we're really worried about in sports drinks. So you have lots of alternatives. There's definitely clean products out there. I can give you a list of ones that don't have it, but I think the biggest thing is to read your labels. Know what you're drinking. If it says like, you're supposed to have the daily recommended sugar intake is tripled in one Gatorade drink, 120-ounce drink. So if you're like,
so
how much sugar should I have in a day?
Yeah,
well,
there you go.
Gatorade triples that in one drink. Gatorade Zero or Gator Light. Okay, well, they took out the sugar, but now they've got what's even worse than sugar. I almost would rather you just drink a Coke, like they've got now all these artificial sweeteners that are just wiping out your immune system, your ability to recover and like heal from training hard, and your body's ability to produce hormones correctly. So, which is growth hormone, testosterone, you name it. So you see anything that's in a gas station, unless it's coconut water, I'm like, stay away from it. So even the stuff that's like,
okay, cool.
Even the stuff that's like flavored water, I'm like, it's got all this stuff in it, these chemicals. Why do you want to put chemicals in your body? Why do you want to put a toxin in your body? So especially when you're training hard and your body's under a lot of stress already, don't stress it out more. But yeah, coconut water, you can make your own drinks. There's tons of companies that are clean. ProTech is one. There's Clean Hydration. There are options, but the standard products that you see everywhere, you just need to know what you're drinking. So read your labels, read the ingredient list.
Yeah. So you said coconut water as one of the things that you probably should have. Does coconut water do the same thing as a Gatorade, as far as like the electrolytes that they're
so it's got your electrolytes, which help. It's got some natural salt in it. It also has what Gatorade doesn't have, which is magnesium, which helps relax muscles. It helps with muscle cramping, and then it doesn't have all the added sugars. So
correct.
It's a great hydration product. It has calories, so sometimes hydration is we just didn't eat enough, so our body's cramping. That's because we didn't get enough calories. So I like that. We do have carbs and we do have calories in our coconut water. And so it's you're going to be out, training 2+ hours, you need calories. So it's a good option for that.
Right. Now I was snooping on your social media before this, and I saw you put a concoction together, like a sports drink. So tell us about it. Tell us the ingredients. Tell us how much you should put in it. What should we order?
Well, my secret ingredient when it comes to a pre-workout is beet juice or beet powder, because it has nitric oxide and helps with blood flow. So when I've been competing before, I feel like it's a secret weapon. That's me personally. Try a lot of things. Your green vegetables have lots of nitric oxide in them, but I like to use beet powder, coconut oil. I might add some extra salt, especially if I'm a salty sweater. A little bit of honey, which is that glucose you need when you're doing high intensity water. And then I also added some mint and some fresh lime, which is kind of soothing for the stomach, because you don't realize that as your blood is flowing away from your gut to your muscles when you're training, it can cause some GI distress. So some athletes get stomach cramps, or they have to run to use the restroom because their stomach's kind of not feeling well. So I like to add a little mint in to kind of soothe everything out.
There you go. So like I have my girlfriend makes cold pressed juices, and she has this great like drink with beets in it. So is that something that's good for an athlete to have?
It's great. Yes, you can even Beet Elite even has these little sticks you can swab your mouth with and test your nitric oxide levels. And I had a bunch of runners, track athletes one time do that, and their levels of nitric oxide in their body were so low. And that's your ability to breathe and to have great blood flow. And they were shocked. They were like, oh, what do I got? I was like, can you be eating green vegetables every day? Like, you need to boost your levels. But beets are a very great source. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to eat beets at like every meal. They're very potent. So like one half a day, a little quick hit is really all you need. Don't overdo the beets, but you can eat a lot of greens, and that has a great source of nitric oxide as well.
What was the swab thing again?
Beet Elite has a little swab you can swab your mouth with, or you spit on it or swab your mouth, and it shows you your nitric oxide levels in the body. And it's something fun that I've used with athletes, especially those that need a lot of cardiorespiratory endurance, or they're a lot of track athletes, basketball players, swimmers, and they're like, wow, my body's pretty depleted. And it takes a while to build those levels back up. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's something fun just to reemphasize the power of nutrition and making sure you're getting your vegetables and your greens daily to keep those levels high and help you perform optimally. If you're a little low on those vegetables, then it's a great way to boost. And when I've had intense competitions, I've pulled it out in pre-competition as my little, competitive edge, and drinking some beet juice 45 minutes before you compete.
Speaking of timing, I always tell, and I'm just checking my information, but I always tell my athletes it's going to take 4 hours for protein to digest, and it's really hard to digest. And if you eat it right before a competition, it's going to drain your energy because it takes a lot of energy for your body to digest protein. Is that information correct?
Yes, I would say that it does. Protein is the hardest thing to digest of the three macronutrients. So we think about carbs, fats, and protein. The category of hard digesting would be your very fibrous carbs like raw broccoli and beans, which we do not want to eat before competition. And then, your protein. And so I think about more of the easily digestible proteins. So, for example, if it's a pregame meal, if you have, typically pregame meals are eaten 3 to 5 hours before the game, or I like it more like 3 hours. I'm like, as long as you have a 2-hour window, I think, I'm like, you can have some protein, but we don't want to be eating steak. We don't want to be eating heavy red meats, ham, pork, some of those harder digesting proteins like beans, legumes. Like we want to avoid that. Stick to like protein powder, Greek yogurt. You can do some eggs, chicken, fish. Those are some easier things on the gut. And then, as you get close to game, but you have to have a little bit just because it's going to hold you and give you some satiety. And especially when we think about a long window of competing, but you don't want to be, protein's not going to give you energy. And so you're right. It's not something you want to avoid. Like you want to have some on your plate in a pregame meal. But at halftime, you're not eating protein, you're eating carbs and fats. So when you have less than 2 hours before competition, you're not going to eat much protein. Maybe a little small turkey rollover sandwich or something. But, you have to really learn your body as an athlete and know, did I digest that okay? Some people have quicker digestions than others. Did that sit okay? Or do I just need to kind of avoid this or train out, avoid it. So one little trick to the trade to help you with digesting protein is to put a little lemon or some type of like acid. So lemon or apple cider vinegar in your water. And then it's the acids in your stomach going to be able to digest that protein. So
little trick there, little Jedi trick.
Squeeze a lemon in your water. It'll help you with digesting that protein.
Okay. There you go. Now, in the presentation, you were excited about this one situation that happened where an athlete was having problems. I think was it with shin splints or something like that?
Double shin splints in both legs.
Yeah. So tell us the story about how that happened, what you told them to do, and the whole story. Just tell the whole story because it lights up your face.
It's a pretty shocking story. I had a track athlete that was winning and doing great in conference, wanted to compete nationally and qualify there. But instead of breaking through the ceiling of her performance, her training broke her. I mean, she quadrupled her training. And next thing you know, she has double shin splints in both shins, which means a fracture on a fracture. So a fracture on top of a fracture in both legs. She was in my office, crying her eyes out saying, I've got 3 weeks before I have to have a surgery where they're going to break both of my legs, basically both of the shins. And I'm going to be in a wheelchair for 6 months. I'm going to miss track season and come back indefinitely. Like they don't even know if I'm going to be running again. And so she asked me that question, like, can I do anything from a nutrition standpoint to heal this? And I was honest. I'm like, 3 weeks is not giving me a lot of time to work. I have no idea, but we'll try. And I asked her the question, I ask every athlete, what are you willing to do? And she was like, I will literally do anything. And she did. And so I realized that she was just not eating enough, not eating anything colorful. She was eating a lot out of like quick on the go stuff out of convenience stores or quick out of the cafeteria, but she really wasn't eating meals and she wasn't eating colorful meals. All the plants, the fruits, the vegetables you need to recover the body and that are really great for your bones. So also had her go down and see a foot specialist in football that I'm friends with, who is a strength coach. Because I'm like, your feet look all like you're sprinting like too many hours a day and your feet are just like little. So I was like, let's just work on that too, because that'll help.
Mhm.
So she did both. And in 3 weeks, she was back in my office with the orthopedic surgeon, and he wanted to know what I did because her scans came back clear, like there were fractures. So he was like, "Are you doing witchcraft? Like, what kind of steroid did you give her? You know, what kind of meds are you peddling back here? Are we doing cocaine? What are we doing?" You know? So she ran and competed that season, didn't have to have surgery. And I went home that night and told my husband, "You will not believe it. Nutrition actually works." You know, I was so
Right,
shocked.
exactly.
I had to hide, my shock, because I was like, "I can't believe it worked." But it also goes to show you that her body was just so depleted. I tell athletes, if you give your body what it needs, it'll do what you want it to do. And she finally gave her body the calories and the nutrition and the vegetables and the fruits that it needed to be able to heal and to compete. So
Yeah, what was the main like vegetables and also other fruits or whatever that you
a lot
gave
of
her?
green, a lot of
A
green,
lot of
because green is actually
green. Okay.
high in calcium, but very high in vitamin K and magnesium. So
Mhm.
your bones need a combination of calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, vitamin K, green vegetables. And that's kind of like the big, and then bone complex. I did have a powder I use, I call it bone juice, that has some of those minerals in it as well, just kind of boost a little bit of what
Hmm.
she was doing. But I was like, you got to eat calories. Like, you can't be training and like trying to go like low cal and look good in a swimsuit. Like, we gotta just fuel your training. I promise you won't gain weight. Your body will just have
Hmm.
enough calories to recover. A lot of people think, "Oh, if I eat more, I'm going to gain weight." And it's like, no, your body's actually going to feel good. You're not going to gain any weight. You actually may lose weight because your body is like, "I need calories to recover my brain and my bones and my muscles and my body." So calories are not just about weight. It's about
Hmm.
your entire skeletal system and everything. And so, do you have the calories needed to heal your body from training and to grow? And so her bones were able to grow and her body was able to heal because she actually started eating 3 meals a day when she was just kind of skipping meals, eating here and there. So I
Mm.
kind of was like, I just need to see a protein, a plant fat, a colorful carb at every meal. And she did that faithfully, never missed, never skipped, never was like, "I'll just eat a pack of crackers and call it a day." She ate 3 meals a
Right.
day. So, and then she just started putting a lot of colorful fruits and veggies, but mostly we were focused a lot on greens.
Mm. Is the timing of when you eat really that important, or is it very important?
Very important to have a rhythm. So when I say a rhythm, I'm saying you eat within the same hour and a half every single day. You go to bed within the same hour and a half window every day. You wake up at the same hour and a half window, because that's what we call circadian rhythm. Your body needs to know what's going on. It's like basically creating concrete to stand on, so that no matter what comes your
Yes.
way, a tornado of training. We had 2-a-days, and we had to max out and all this crazy training. And then we had competition. And then we had 3 games back to back. Like, to withstand whatever stress and load is happening, you have to be standing on concrete. You can't be standing on sand or swimming in the water. Like, you need concrete, you need solid ground. And so that circadian rhythm of like, my body has this routine and a rhythm, and it fluctuates sometimes. Like, sometimes I eat breakfast at 7 and sometimes I eat it like more like 7:45, 8. That's
Hmm.
okay. But like, we're in that same window every day. So your body is dialed in. It knows what's going on. It can process and
Hmm.
metabolize. It knows that I'm going to get energy, therefore I can go and do what I need to do. And so that rhythm and routine to make sure your body's on circadian rhythm is essential. It's like a first step in performance.
There you go. There you go. That is
A lot of
great
people are like, "Well, I
information.
need to eat, but I'll just, wait till 11 a.m. in the morning to eat." And I'm like, "No, you missed a huge window." As you wake up in the morning, your cortisol is spiking. Feed that cortisol spike and get your energy going. And don't, some people are like, "Well, I'm just not hungry." I'm like, "Well, it's probably because you ate too much at dinner." And it's probably too,
Mm.
you just need to feed yourself, get the machine going. So put something in, even if it's small and you have to build, put something in, but we can't be waiting until 10:30, 11 to eat something. So
So does that go for anybody? So I'm talking about the general population, not just athletes. But so if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or just maintain weight, is that rhythm the same for everybody, or does it just depend on like your biological?
it's pretty standard. So an athlete may have a workout session at 6 a.m. in the morning, whereas someone who just has a desk job is not going to wake up till 7 a.m. So very different lifestyles, but at the same time, we need to be having breakfast before 9 a.m. every morning, 9:30, 9 a.m. because then we have to have time to digest and get that energy and those nutrients. And then we have to have lunch. And so that window is going to be between 11 and 1 for everyone, whether you're an athlete or, someone else. And then dinner needs to be, so the problem is a lot of intermittent fasting is popular where I'm trying to lose weight. So I'm not going to eat until lunch.
I was going to ask you about that.
And I'm like, why would you make your body go without gas? That makes no sense, because what it does, it makes you really hungry. The reason why it works for a little bit is because you are cutting a lot of calories. You can only eat so much in a certain window, but it doesn't work long term. And so fast, but I say fuel the day. When you're making your body work, give it fuel. When your body is like done for the day and it's like nighttime recovery, like stop feeding the machine. Like do not eat at night, fast that intermittent window. So instead of making the go time of your day a fasting window, make the recovery part of your day a fasting window from 7 o'clock at night till 7 a.m. in the morning, so that your body can actually not have to worry about metabolizing food. It can actually worry about recovering and healing bone and tissue and sleeping well and doing the things it needs to do. So I think those windows have just gotten messed up with the intermittent fasting. So if you want it to work long term, fast the night, not the day. Okay, so if you're going to do intermittent fasting, I think every day you should fast the night. No one should be eating at night, late night or whatever. So if you're like, well, I'm hungry, it's like, well, because you need to eat more during the day. But if you're going to legitimately fast, typically they recommend like once a year taking like no food at all. This is not really for an athlete if you're training or competing, but just for general health benefits. It's generally accepted to be healthy to fast like 2 days where you just take in water, and just let your body work on other things besides, like healing and detoxing and things like that, besides having to metabolize food. So like 2 to 3 days. Some people, go like a whole week and they just take in water. That's kind of extreme if you've got certain complications in life, if you've had past eating disorders and things. I don't recommend fasting at all. But everyone can fast every day, the evening window. So I think that's where most people, athletes and the general public, get in trouble, is what they do at night.
Is there anything that you would add that we probably didn't cover that would be like a verbal gold to them in their nutrition and their nutrition journey?
My encouragement is the smaller you start, the more lasting it'll be. So I think where people go wrong is they want to do 20 months. And I'm like, if you don't drink water first thing in the morning, drink water before coffee or before food or before anything. Hydrate yourself when you've been 7 hours, 6 hours without anything to drink because you've been sleeping. Start there. Do that for 3 weeks, and then build on that. Like just the slower you go, which is really hard in our culture because our culture wants it now. Instant gratification. I'm going to go hardcore and I want to get my weight loss and my goals or whatever, my muscle gain. I want to get it now. And I'm like, that's not how it works. I mean, I just heard an Olympian, the world record holder in the shot put in the Olympics, needed to gain weight. And he needed to gain 30 pounds of muscle. And it took him 4 years to do it the right way. 4 years.
Who's that? Crowser? Is that Crowser?
Yes. Ryan Crowser. Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan Crowser.
There you go. I'm track and field guy.
Okay. Well, that's my heart too. I love track and field. I'm like, 4 years to do it the right way, to build solid muscle. And he is a machine. Like he is a total machine. And he had no bones, but he wasn't like, it was so sad that it took 4 years. Like, it took 4 years. That's what it takes, like very matter of fact. And I'm like, everyone needs to hear that. Here's the world champ, gold medalist, more accolades than anybody else in the sport, probably ever. And 4 years to get that 30 pounds of muscle that he needed. So that's what it takes. The slower you go, the more lasting it'll be. And you got to have that long-term perspective. Like it can't be like, I have to have this tomorrow. It's like, I'm building every day. I can't say every day build and every day fight for a win, and a win on a really stressful, anyone can do great things on good days. Who are you on your worst day when it's like super stressful? You don't have any food in the kitchen, all life is broken loose, it's just a disaster. fight for a win, one small win. And it may be, you know what, I want to just give up today and quit and go drink a bunch of alcohol or, binge eat ice cream, but I'm going to eat some vegetables first. And then we'll just see where it goes. That's a win. That's a win. So, like
There you go.
fight for the small wins, long-term perspective, and just every day be building. So,
well, I want to thank you for coming on and doing this with me. And I really, really appreciate it. I enjoyed your presentation. So I'll probably see you on the road somewhere else presenting.
well, thank you so much. It was a privilege and I really appreciate it.
Okay.
It's performstrong.org.
Okay.
And my email is melissa@performstrong.org.
There we go. So go ahead and follow her. And again, thanks for coming on, and talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
All right.